Okay, hello, good morning, everybody. This is a deck I've had built since Sunday. On Sunday, I got a really productive day and tested a lot of ideas, and between the challenges and yesterday's awesome Grixis Lutri deck, really excited about that one. Haven't gotten around to testing it, but here we are debuting it on stream. This one actually weirdly started because I was just kind of scrolling through a list, and I saw my old Recommission Elementals deck list, and I don't know. I ended up starting to kind of think a little bit about this general shell of Dragon Rage's Channeler, Faithless Looting, Detective's Phoenix, Violent Urge, Cori-Steel Cutter, Fear of Missing Out, and so this is like a really interesting package of cards. We've played a similar package in the Rakdos Cecil deck, but instead of playing Steel Cutter, Vexing Bauble, we're playing Street Race, we're playing Cecil, we're playing Discard Spells, we're playing Nethergoyf. And I was interested in kind of trying to really incorporate Faithless Looting. You know, sometimes it feels like I'm taking crazy pills. I've been teleported to the year 2025. Faithless Looting is unbanned, and it doesn't see any play in any top tier modern decks. Although that's kind of changing a little bit with this Grixis Goryo's deck coming out. You know, Hollow One is a playable deck. It sees play, but it's not like a super dominant card, despite being just so powerful. Or at least it was at one point. And we've also the Phlage and these Faithless Looting shells is also something that it just feels like it needs to have a place in the metagame. Phlage, Faithless Looting. We had the Mardu Goryo's deck that we could circle back to, but it's this is just such a powerful powerful thing to be doing. So we've also recently played Recommission. We recently played Recommission, and this is a card I really liked in Steel Cutter shells, and kind of over other options because it can get back your Cori-Steel Cutter in addition to getting back your creatures. Now, Jolted Awake does not get back your Seasoned Pyromancer, does not get back your Phlage. I do not want to see any Jolted Awakes in the chat. We have no energy cards in the deck. If you have a bunch of energy cards, you can consider it, but it is also really awkward that you have to go loot away your Seasoned Pyromancer, then play an energy card, then Jolted Awake to get back your Seasoned Pyromancer, which is pretty tough. We get to be... Oh, also, the +1 counter on the Recommission, when you put it on a Channeler or you put it on a Fear of Missing Out, is actually a really, really big deal, too. So, I think it's not the most complicated deck overall. Let's just go ahead and jump in there. Is this deck called Base Boros because it doesn't use the meta energy cards? Yes. All right, let's keep this. Looting Green Sun is so underplayed. I think when it was unbanned, you predicted it was an amulet-only buff, and now things that have settled that prediction turn out to be dead on. Yeah, I mean, I'll say that there have been some... we have had some success with some brews that have Green Sun Zenith, especially as new cards have been printed. But yeah, for the most part, it's an Amulet Titan tool. Although, a lot of Titan players just don't even play it. Some people like it, some people don't, and... I still think that dynamic is pretty interesting. But looting is a step above, you know. When it got unbanned, everyone was playing looting decks. That first week, it really did seem like looting was the best card in the format. But there's just a lot of incidental graveyard hates, and there's also just a lot of strategies that end up being pretty good against let's draw that Seasoned Pyromancer. There's a lot of strategies that typically end up being pretty good against the looting decks. Green Sun is one of those cards that gets better every set. One thing that would make Green Sun Zenith way better is if there were hate bears that good hate bears that you could get with it that just don't exactly exist at the moment. What does looting in 2025 do? Mostly amass orcs too. Too real. I think Wizards have printed so much incidental graveyard hate over the last years that graveyard strategies aren't that great in Modern. I think this is a little reductive, but also, I'll say, true overall. So kind of hoping my opponent just uses Prismatic Ending on the FOMO so I can tap out for Spyro. Yeah, Collector Roof is basically the only one. There's Gaddock Teague, I guess, too. But just, yeah, a couple more hate bears would be a really big deal for Green Sun. I think the Phlage Tommy Oculus deck worked with both looting. Yeah, I mean, that deck was good. The deck was, it's definitely kind of more of a metagame thing, but there's a difference between some of our brews doing well on the channel and decks making like meaningful long-term impact of the format, you know? Yeah, if Asmo was green, that would be something. Oh, stupid Flame of Anor. They get in for 2. Yeah, let's go discard a land and then discard the looting here. If it resolves. Why not fetch here? I mean, my yard is going to be super duper full. I feel like I care a little bit more about taking less damage. Do I play? I guess I hold the bauble. We're still doing the party counter bit. Why are you sad about that? You know, how does this tiny party 1 of the quarter give you a sad face? I'm going to keep it on longer now. Okay, I'm going to keep it on longer, just because of this comment. All right, 2 tune the narratives. So maybe they have a Galvanic Discharge up for the Phlage. I think I'm going to play the Steel Cutter. It's a little bit weak to snare. I was hoping we'd evolve since I haven't watched it so long. Piece of, you know, just come on, let me have some little fun. Please. What do you mean evolved? It's a tiny, tiny inside joke on the corner. I think it's funny. I still think it's funny. Do I want to Phoenix? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, sorry, 5. So I think, I mean, that would cost me exiling my lootings in the Phlage, so let's just surveil. Yeah, the 0 mana Entomb is pretty sick. They brick on the Thundertrap Trainer. Just build this. This used to be a stream where your fiance showed off her cooking. I'm upset that doesn't happen anymore. What is the best dish she makes? Well, things have been a little weird since I've gone vegetarian, but oh no, why would she get summoned just like this?
I was just walking by when you said this.
Okay, what is the best dish you make? I like the skewers that you made the other day.
Eating my beef stew. That's my favorite thing.
I'm gonna Phoenix on this FOMO here. Yeah, Esther's big into beef stew. I've gone vegetarian. It's tearing our relationship apart.
Yeah.
We're not gonna make it. So also, you know, this. I mean, I guess you know they get still Galvanic Discharge, but the 4 toughness. Nice. All right, I'm gonna exile. Looting, Recommission, Seasoned Pyromancer. I guess I don't need to, or sorry, Bolt, Recommission, Seasoned Pyromancer, but I don't need the second Bolt. Oh yeah, we got Zucchini on the skewers. So this right here by itself is is 10 damage, which is fun. Okay, up a game against Is It Wizards. This is a matchup that is kind of inherently really good, and I don't think we need to do a lot. We could maybe play Wear Tear for some artifact-based graveyard hate that they probably have. Not super duper required. We could play a Ghost Vacuum. I think a single Ghost Vacuum is something I want against the Snapcaster deck that's just kind of eventually going to win me the game in a matchup that's going to go long. I don't think I want this Violent, so I could play maybe second Ghost Vacuum, which seems okay. I could play first Wear Tear. I think they're just not going to have enough targets for Wear Tear. Although, when you bring in something like Wear Tear, in a deck like this that has 4 looting, 4 FOMO, 4 Seasoned Pyromancers, the upside, the downside is just really low. You just loot it away. I think that's going to be wild. Bring it in here. I kind of stopped playing Modern since Call Time era. The format looks so different now. I'm tempted to get back into it, honestly. I think now's a really good time. You missed some of my favorite eras, I guess, but now is a really good time to get into it, I think. Things are not only on a trend upward. I'd say things are pretty actively good at the moment. We just had an awesome stream with Lutri where we did really well. Edge of Eternities is going to be a really big set for Modern. I think it's probably going to be more impactful than Dragonstorm. I don't think that there might be some cards that are as good as Steel Cutter, just like with how crazy Warp is. I think Steel Cutter probably is better than any individual card from the set, but just overall the set is so full of like modern playables. So yeah, maybe wait a week or two for Edge. All right, nice little value there. Plus Delirium coming as soon as we crack this fetch. This is cool. Can't believe we haven't thought of something like this. So we've played kind of adjacent lists to this. We've played like Jeskai Control with Phlage and looting and stuff, and we've played Hollow One with like looting and Detective's Phoenix. But this one just has like much higher card quality and much more resilience to graveyard hate with like Seasoned Pyromancer and Steel Cutter. So yeah, it's like it definitely came together really well. And like to some extent, like our big successes over the last month or so have been like Karuga Control, Rakdos Cecil, Karuga Control, Rakdos. Hold on? Sorry, I'm talking as well. I'm also thinking of my line here. If I want to haste the FOMO or not. I think no. I think I just discard the mountain. Rakdos Cecil, Grixis Lutri is what I'm planning on playing at the challenge this coming week, and I'm really excited. Or this Friday, I'm really excited for that. And a lot of these decks are like really like off the wall in their strategies that you would have expected to not be very good. And it's like I think there's just a lot about, you know, like things have just changed so much in Modern. There's like a lot about deck building that has changed too, and I'm trying to evolve with it. If that makes sense. Did you like the Haunted House set? I liked the cards that were in the Haunted House set. I don't think I was a big flavor fan of Duskmourn, but I think I a lot of people really disliked Duskmourn. I wasn't one of those. I was fine. But I would say overall that, you know, Fear of Missing Out into being a really good modern card. There's a lot of fun modern cards to brew around in that set. Just finished putting together Helga Kruger. Yeah, that one's really nice. That one really hinges on the axis of how popular is Eldrazi though. So Eldrazi has gotten more popular lately, so you kind of gotta bide your time and wait until it stops being popular. Okay, so they use a Discharge and they use a Wrath Disguise to clear my Steel Cutter and they clear my Channeler. That's okay. So they have 3 cards left in their hand. Do they have a land? They do not. I guess. I mean, I might lose out on the ability to surveil. I guess that's not actually. That's actually better because I don't have any white 1-drops I could cast here. All right, can I Phoenix comfortably? So I can get rid of FOMO, Steel Cutter, Channeler, and then looting, and then I still have 1, 2, 3. So I have Bauble, Mountain, Arid Mesa, and I get rid of FOMO, Channeler, Steel Cutter, looting. So I won't be able to escape the Phlage next turn. Getting rid of the looting is also kind of awkward. Not the biggest deal. I think it's going to be more important than I'm able to. I could also just exile the Phoenix maybe. I could just bestow here, exile this Phoenix, exile Steel Cutter Channeler. Let's do that. I think because I do want to cast this and get in. How do you even build your deck in a form of 4-Strip Mine? Yeah, so it's Timeless that gets 4-Strip Mine or Historic or both. Because I really liked Timeless. It was really fun to brew in. We had that awesome Beseech the Mirror Channel deck. That deck was so fun. All right, so let's get their counterspell out of their hand with this Cori-Steel Cutter, I think. Interesting. Not the most powerful Steel Cutter, but will Strip Mine be banned in Brawl? I don't know. I guess that's a question for Amy. Okay, definitely keeping that on top with double Arena of Glory in play. Maybe we'll play some Timeless. I would just love for there to be some like cool tournament series. Like if I could, like, I just hate to grind the Arena ladder. I got Arena, like I got like a little deck on Arena, and I was playing some Standard. I do not enjoy the Arena ladder. It just is way less interesting to me than the leagues. I don't mind the client. I don't mind the games on the client, but like the ladder grind is miserable. Alright, so on the draw, round number 2. Let's keep. It's not leagues like I think. Okay, what is it leagues like? Okay, so starting town, Haywire Might. Interesting. We just care about modern. That's okay if you only care about modern. I also care about modern. It's okay if you don't want to watch any non-modern, but I Aspiring Spike have really been liking playing Cube. I Aspiring Spike reserve the right to play what I want when I want. For now, at least. The cubes have been so fun lately. I know sometimes, like, there was a time I liked Standard more than Modern. Dude, imagine if I was a Legacy brewer. Okay, so we're gonna in this matchup we can bring in the Conquerors, the Charmaws, and then the Wear-Tears. Don't think we're bringing in any of the artifacts, but bringing in all of the non-artifacts, I guess. Yeah, I think we want to play Cori-Steel Cutter plus Channeler this turn. Does mean we're not going to get a extra attack off the FOMO, but I think that's okay. And then this kind of taxes their mana on the Haywire Might a little bit. Spike, please do some Legacy brewing. So, you know, I say this a lot, but you can't brew in formats you don't play. I used to be a Legacy specialist. Those days are long behind me. And you can't brew in formats that you don't play regularly. So maybe if for me to brew in any of these formats, Standard, Legacy stuff, I just need to play them regularly, which might happen. Goose with the 14 months, Modern better than Cube. I agree. I Aspiring Spike like Modern, but I reserve the right to play other formats, and I will tease you if you complain about it. Okay, Violent Urge is a very good chance to kill them. Yeah, if I just get Delirium, then I Violent Urge this. It has 4 power, and then I get to attack with it twice. 4 power, double strike twice. So we do need a creature or a... Okay, there we go. Okay, and also recommission that Spyro, huh? Another Seasoned Pyromancer. Discard. So they are dead to this. What about Popper? I kind of like the idea of Popper, yeah. I guess we don't need to show them the recommission. All right. So we go to game 2. Great to win a game and then be like, all right, here's 8 premium sideboard cards. Although, maybe too many Charmaws. Maybe 2. Well, they're playing Starting Town. It's probably not too many Charmaws. Let's cut the Detectives Phoenixes, I think. Bauble Conqueror is a little bit of a nombo. I don't think it's such a huge deal. I think we probably are going to cut the Violent Urges since we're trying to pivot into a more controlling game plan. And then I think I'd like to go down a single recommission. Phlage is good, but I think when I'm boarding in Double Conqueror, keeping a better mana curve is nice. And then we could trim FOMO, we could trim a Steel Cutter, we could trim a Looting. We could go down to 1 recommission. I don't think so with the Double Conqueror. I think 2 is where I want to be. Let's go down to Looting. Energyless Boros, you're about to be arrested at once. Please turn yourself over to the authorities. You know, this deck has been playing really well. I think on the draw against a mulligan, we're gonna keep this. There's a lot to like about this. You know, it's like there's a lot of things about Modern that are kind of stale and boring with Boros, with Eldrazi, with Titan. It's like a lot of these decks are stale and boring, but there's a lot of the stuff that's having success right now is stuff that doesn't feel stale. Even like the new Living In builds look really cool to me. Okay, I do want that Arena of Glory. Like I would usually not say this, but even the new Living In builds look really cool with like Overlord and stuff. The Grixis Goryo's deck is really cool, and I really like having that deck around. The decks we've been having success with, Karuga, Rakdos Cecil. Dingo is like winning a challenge, top hitting a challenge with Grixis Cecil Shadow. It's like, I think I'm really trying to understand what the hell's going on in a way that, like, in the sense that there is something going on. there's like the format can be attacked, but it's attacked in like a different way, it feels like, than you used to be able to. I don't know exactly how to articulate this because I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm trying to. Okay, all 3 drops, not the best plan of attack. I'm gonna graveyard this looting. Modern's just super high variance. There's nothing going on here. So thank you, Claudio. How's Pioneer, Claudio? Dude, quad Spyros. Modern is high variance. That's definitely the case, or that's definitely part of it. But it's more. It's like there's high variance, and then there's like challenge win, challenge top 8 with Grixis Shadow. There's us. We were 10-4 with Lutri yesterday. You know, it's like these kind of off the wall fair strategies can be like metagamed in a way that the format just isn't ready for. You can build Boros aggro in a variety of ways too, which I think is interesting. Pioneer's showing in his grave. Hopefully, they'll probably give it some attention again someday. Do you still like Pioneer, Claudio? Are you still like, oh man, are you still playing it, or are you doing other stuff? So that is enough mana to K command my Phlage if they have that. They'd probably main phase it, right? Looks like they have it. They make spawns, so I wonder if they have an Emrakul. Emrakul would make some sense with how they've how slow they've played this game. I'm gonna discard 1 Spyro, 1 land, I think. Drawing my last Surveil is a little awkward here, but I need to keep up the Bolt to stop the Brood Scale combo. I play it less because there's less incentives, but there's a lot to be discovered when you don't look at a format for a year. I think that's true. Hoping for a Unified Modern Spotlight Liverpool. Hell yeah. Dude, Unified Modern is a fun format. There's one GP when GPs existed. I guess they kind of exist again. But there was a Team Unified Modern Grand Prix that me and my friends had a deep run in, and then we lost our last 2 rounds. I was playing Is It Gift Storm, and I couldn't beat Dredge. It was crazy. That was just my best matchup, and my draws were just so non-functional. We beat Brad Nelson. Brad Nelson was at 4 life in the Death Shadow Mirror, and we Teamer Battle Rage 2 individual Spirit tokens for the 2 extra damage. It was crazy. Boros Eldrazi Neoform. That seems like a good start. I would, the tournament would probably have to actually exist for me to spend a lot of brain power on it. There's Luchi Challenge today. Luchi Challenge is on Friday. Ooh. Hit the minimize everything button. So I kind of think my opponent has another K command, and they are trying to set up for a Sephiroth flip with it in response to this lightning bolt. When your opponent just has like nothing going on and then they tank for that long, it's kind of hard to feel like they have nothing. So getting Delirium here would be really nice, so I could haste the Channeler without using my Bolt first. That's not a luxury we're provided here. I guess trying to go for lethal is a little silly, since they just are going to gain this life here, right? Just thinking if I want to haste the Seasoned Pyromancer or the Channeler. I think I do want to haste the Channeler, because I think what's going to happen is I'm going to get to use the Bolt in combat to give this Delirium, and there's a chance that happens in a way that I get to either fly over the stuff, or if they just like block it with a spawn, I think that's okay. But also if they like block the Sephiroth on a Steel Cutter or on the Channeler, and we bolt the Sephiroth, it still dies to the Bolt, even if they have the K command. Been playing a Yorion version. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, I've heard about this Titanless Titan deck in Pioneer with Minstrel. Yorion makes a lot of sense. So you can get all the quantity of lands in there. Okay, so they have Fatal Push instead. Would they have ever Fatal Pushed first if they also had K Command? Maybe. If they do have K Command, can they flip Sephiroth? Not if I bolt now. So let's go ahead and bolt now. We're going to do this before the Sephiroth triggers. So they sack a spawn, and then they do also have another K Command. Think that new 2-mana black sorcery is playable. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You gotta link the card, name the card, describe what the card does. I not name the card because I don't know the names. I'm not that good, baby. I'm not that good. It's so weird hearing K Command, not hearing referring to Kolaghan's command. You know, we actually cast Kolaghan's command yesterday. Find comfort in that, my friend. We cast Kolaghan's command yesterday. 3-2-4-1, 3-1. Thief of Existence, my Steel Cutter. Okay. They've got 5 life points and 3 cards in hand. Then they cast Ancient Stirrings. Later, a different other order doesn't really matter. Yeah, we got to draw step. I think we draw step K commanded to lock them out twice. Could you explain Recommission helping hand this deck? Yes, Recommission gets your creature untapped, which does matter a lot. It can bring back Steel Cutter, which matters a lot. And that +1 counter matters a ton on a Dragon Rage's Channeler and on a okay, good hit for them here. On a Dragon Rage's Channeler and wait, Vexing. Losing my train of thought. Do I I guess I have to Charmaw because I'm gonna discard the Charmaw if I cast the Seasoned Pyromancer. Yeah, but a +1 counter on a FOMO is huge, and a +1 counter on a DRC is also huge. So, like, yeah, those things also matter. I guess we want to put them to 4 here, right? I have a 4/4 flyer, and flying creatures cannot be blocked by creatures without flying or reach. Why not haste? This was exerted already. Yeah, I like this card a lot. I think the fact that like you get to have these crazy turn 1s with it, and then like next turn maybe or the turn after you get to play it as a 3/3 that's still popping off for you. I think is a really big deal. Oh, I thought this was an uncommon, not a rare, but I do like this card. Edge of Eternities is maybe it feels like they just keep ramping up the standard set's impact to modern since MH3. It's like since MH3. Let's see what was the first one. Was Murders the first one or Lost Cap or no Wilds? Wilds was Beans, which was pre MH3. I think Murders was the first. Murders or Outlaws, but it's just like okay. Outlaws was better than Bloomburrow, which was better than Duskmourn. Okay, so maybe my perspective is off. But Aether Drift was better than the other two. Then Dragonstorm was better. Then Final Fantasy was worse, and now Edge of Eternity is better. Okay, so never mind. It's not just a ramp up. Is Pi still on Keth's combo? Pi usually plays like fair control decks, so I think I'm gonna keep this on the play. I think I'm gonna Graveyard Violent Urge. The Boros land that's being printed in Edge. I don't think I've seen a Boros land. I would take a look though. Oh, Sacred Foundry. All right, I got the pre-release Sacred Foundry here. Yeah, Duskmourn has FOMO and Black Overlord, and I think a couple other ones. All right, takes the Steel Cutter. Gonna discard a Spyro here. Could maybe end up recommissioning this. You seem you've forgotten Splinter's Win in the stack. We did do well with the mono. I totally forgot I wanted to play one more league with the mono red Eldrazi Splinter Twin deck. We're like 4-1, and then I went to lunch. So I guess I could put that as like maybe backup deck tomorrow, maybe third backup deck today. Although we're starting off hot here, so it's not super likely we get to it. Yeah, it does feel really good not to be playing a Johnny Guide Pride Bombardment. I agree completely, and this build has been feeling really good. What's the warp artifact? It's a 3/3 that's warps for a blue or red hybrid mana, and then allows you to sorry, I lost my train of thought. Allows you to whenever you cast a or whenever you cast an artifact spell, you get to make a 1/1 flying artifact. I think I need to cast the Seasoned Pyromancer here instead of spending 3 mana to Phlage. Let me get basic planes. Discard these two, then we have Delirium, who can attack for 4. Then hopefully can just escape Phlage next turn. This kind of is the big test, I guess. You know, can we, or how good does this matchup feel? I don't know if I played this matchup on Sunday when I tested this off stream. It's been like 5 days, and I've been jogging and swimming and I'm pretty exhausted. So they have a second copy of Guide of Souls. And they have a Johnny. Can I borrow this Arena of Glory? I had to use the Phlage to defeat the Phlage. Elementals too. It's okay, I guess. Play around Ragavan. Do you think this black draw is playable? Hymn of the Fallen. 2 mana. Okay, so this is the new black sorcery. Surveil 1, draw a card, lose 1. And then if a non-land permanent left, you draw an additional 1. So Surveil 1, draw 2, lose 1 life. Maybe. I definitely will say I like this. So I might be really interested in equipping the Steel Cutter to the Phlage so it doesn't die to a hasty Arena here. Although bolting this seems really important too. Yeah, I think this is definitely a little bit weird, but making the Phlage a 7/7 just seems like the priority here. So if they do draw the land for Arena, I get to keep my Phlage. And obviously if they break, we should be in great shape. So the thing is with this card or these cards, the Mishra's Bauble is a great enabler, and there's like kind of nothing else that's super good. But there's like it'll just kind of happen naturally. This is I would think yes, certainly a card worth looking closely at. All right, so I should have them just dead here. Isn't it lethal if they just have the land? Sorry, I guess it was. I don't know why I thought it wasn't. I didn't even think it was like really close, to be honest. Now we have lethal though. It's hard to look at spoilers in play sometimes. All right, nice 7/8 guide. If I left the elemental token, maybe it wasn't, so maybe I should have looked a little closer at that. So we're going to bring in the Graveyard Hate for their Phlages, and then kind of do nothing else. Going to cut the Violent Urges, maybe I want to play a Wear Tear. I think a Wear Tear is maybe even 2, because it's going to hit their Graveyard Hate and Bombardment and Static Prison, and we can just loot them away a lot of the time. I do think Steel Cutter Phoenix is pretty good against them, but I might just trim 1. Trim a Looting. I want to keep in all the recommissions, I think. I think we can probably cut a Bauble for bringing in all of these artifacts. Opponent kept 7. I think we have to mulligan this on 7. Keep this on 6. Double Surveil a bit awkward, but not going to go to 5. Might have to go to game 3. In a Boros deck that doesn't use Bombardment like this one, does Fable make sense over Spyro? We're really on a Recommission Seasoned Pyromancer, but I'll say that in general, like I think Seasoned Pyromancer is much better than Bombardment. Sorry, I think that it's more than just like the Bombardment synergies. I think that just top decking and drawing 2 is huge. But in this deck, like I really am interested in like it's like a big part of Faithless Looting being playable in this deck is that you have these that like Seasoned Pyromancer is a good card to discard for value. So you can recommission it and like outgrind your opponents. That's pretty important. Speaking of recommission, I think I'm just gonna go Surveil Channeler. We could take our time a little bit here, and then we can maybe set up for like looting into like recommission a Spyro or get Delirium, maybe kill the Ajani. Although I guess it's not too easy for them to flip this and then have their flip not be something that, like a bombardment that kills this, you know what I mean? Might recommission the Channeler, recommission Channeler, pretty big. Marionette Apprentice, what the hell? Must have Sephiroth in the deck. So I could go looting into recommission. I think if I just find a Seasoned Pyromancer, I'm okay enough to just draw it and cast it next turn. So I want to do this so I can be more likely to get this to be a 4/4 flyer. I think we don't want the Ghost Vacuum at this point in the game. So we discard this to get Delirium and pass. Gonna need to top deck. That Dreams of Steel and Oil taking my Phlage on the mulligan's tough. Probably do block here so I can try to just attack the Ajani with the Channeler. It's not super likely to work, but I think since I'm so behind, I think I could just try to take this higher upside line. Don't know how much sense that makes. All right, seems like it was okay at the very least, but we're still pretty behind. Yeah, I think this is not going to be enough. Let's go ahead and go to game 3. Hopefully we keep a nice 7 on the play. I think I might go down. Let's go bring the 4th looting back in, go down to just 1 Wear Tear. Well, I mean, they definitely have a bunch of bombardments. Okay, never mind. My Huffing Coping, I'm thinking Ice to Explore could work in Modern Fetches. Oh, I don't remember what that card does, but I'll take a look. I do think this new set is very, very full. I think on the play, I'm going to keep this on 7. Just tough matchup to mulligan in. We've got a lot of good elements. We can kind of comfortably surveil 3 times. Take your time. All right, surveil. Let's go ahead and graveyard that looting for a little bit of value, I think. I'm going to discard the Sacred Foundry. So hopefully we can Steel Cutter looting and then get Delirium online. That might be a little bit tougher, I guess. Okay, well, Delirium's online, but now we care a little bit less about that. Okay, I guess good sequencing so they can exile the FOMO Delirium offline. Steel Cutter taken. 5 cards in our opponent's hand. Obviously, a great top deck. So I'm discard 1 Phlage for sure. I think I hold the other one, so if my opponent has Graveyard Hate, then we get to go Spyro, discard Phlage as a follow-up. Trespasser? Yeah. So we do get punished for this line. Did not play around Trespasser very well, huh? Guess we get to graveyard that for a little bit of value. Oh yeah, Dreams would also have been like the nuts. Yeah, maybe it was just better to discard both. I guess a lot of the graveyard hate just gets 1 at a time, right? right, looks like we're in there. I don't think my opponent is going to be so bad as they would just like let me let me. I'd been okay to draw that bauble actually, but let me surveil and then exile the Phlage. I think I have more faith in Pi, so let's surveil first. Let's exile 4 lands and the bauble. We still have Delirium. Maybe they've got a removal spell, but just don't want them to top deck a piece of Graveyard Hate. Yeah, it does seem like push. Graveyard's Wrath Disguise pushes the Phlage. We Siege Rhino them, and then they untap with 3 cards. Marionette Apprentice. Tapped Godless Shrine, 1 card left in our opponent's hand. Not a bad follow-up. Could recommission the Steel Cutter and escape the Phlage maybe next turn. So I'll have Recommission Bauble minus Phoenix. So I would have to exile my Phoenix. I think it's kind of tough to keep a land on top here. I think I would rather just not do that, and we just have so many better top decks. I think main phase Crack is good against Bowmaster. It's bad against like another Dreams of Steel and Oil, but I guess that's the end of that thought. I think I could leave a Steel Cutter in the yard, honestly. Yeah, I think I'm leaving Steel Cutter in the yard for this recommission. Does kill my Channeler, but that's okay. We're Phlaging. I think I target the servo for more damage instead of them for more life. I'm at 23 years. We should have left Phoenix on top to discard. Well, you can either leave it on top to discard, or you can just discard the next card, and either way the Phoenix is in the graveyard, and we can we just get to fill the graveyard more this line. All right, base Boros beats Cringe, Mardu Energy. Let's get a trophy prediction. Do you think Phlage is going to be abandoned modern at some point? I don't know, maybe. I'll say that modern is pretty fun at the moment, and there's not going to be abandoned modern for a long time, or at least that's what they say. And so I think we could have these conversations, and we do still have these conversations from time to time, but I at the moment I really just do prefer to enjoy a format that I'm enjoying instead of continuing to talk about bans at a time where bans are not coming, you know. I have not seen the new artifact Dork, if you mean Mana Dork. If you mean the thing that warps and makes a lot of 1/1s, I have seen that one. The main phase because of Bowmaster. Probably Dingo's Grixis list. Fun matchup. No Lutri revealed. Have not seen this. Steel Swarm Operator. So this is a 1/1 for 2. Taps 2 for artifacts, or only activated abilities and of artifact sources, and only casts artifact spells. Not going to be a modern card, but looks fun. Okay, turn 2 Frog, and turn 1 Cecil on the play. Pretty good against my draw. Should I be... What do I do here? It's actually a lot easier if this is a red source, because then I can try to set up to just like one-shot them. If I attack and then they block and they bolt and they discard all of their cards, it has an annoying 5 toughness, and I don't have an untapped red to like attack and like Violent Urge first. I guess if I surveil a like enchantment creature to the yard, then this gets a little bit more interesting. So we did not do that. Maybe I made a mistake. My graveyard in a Steel Cutter. I think it's okay. So I could bolt the Cecil main phase and try to entomb a FOMO or a Phoenix, but I think I'm more interested in bolting the Cecil in response to the flip, so they take 2 extra damage, and like maybe they take 4 extra damage because they'll like damage themselves pre-combat. I wonder if when they'll ever continue the Theros Titan cycle. Well, the Theros Titans have not been particularly well designed so far, so I kind of hope that they don't. Kroxa was fine. Alright, I think I'm just going to not trade 2 damage for 2 damage. I want to get my Surveil here since my draw is a little clunky. I don't hate this, but I don't think I have a good turn with it next turn, so let's do better maybe. So they got a frog on an empty board. They're going to have 4 cards in hand after they smack me with it. And then I get to untap and probably play the Seasoned Pyromancer. I'm going to look at my top card. It's going to help me inform a bit better what I discard here. I'm drawing a land, so I think that I'm discarding Seasoned Pyromancer, or sorry, FOMO Violent Urge, and keeping the other Seasoned Pyromancer. Yeah, I think at this point, with them having this many cards, trying to cheese them with the Urge is not the game plan. Do you think Quantum Riddler 4/6 flying with Warp for 2-mana draw card would be good in Temur Battlecry? I think that card is going to be a big modern staple, but I think that what you pair that with is not Temur Battlecry. It's just like Ephemerate and Felia. Like that seems really strong to me. I think that's going to be the de facto best way to build control. I think it's going to be potentially the best card advantage engine in the modern format. I'm really high on it, but I'm like I guess kind of simply, it's going to be like a staple kind of effect I'm predicting, and so putting it in fringe decks like Temur Battlecry is going to be kind of low on the list, but like maybe you would play it there somehow. Bill with the 15 months, thank you so much. Oh, welcome back. Dimir Titan, each your attack, Surveil 3, draw a card, each opponent draws a card. Pretty fucking good. Alright, they play a Death Shadow here. Yeah, there is one in the lore. Alright, so now they're going down to 12. They're going to take my Seasoned Pyromancer. They have 3 cards in their hand. We draw. Well, don't have a good attack, so let's not attack. I guess I could have surveilled main phase looking for Detective's Phoenix. Yeah, that would have been pretty good. Could have tried surveilling within the yard and not play Channeler. Yeah, just surveil first, I think was probably good. They find another copy of Death Shadow. They keep themselves at 8. They play the other shadow. They play a third shadow. Cool. Am I excited to build Rock Cosmogoyf? Well, Cosmogoyf is good with Detective's Phoenix. It's good with Necrodominance. It's good with Relic, Ketchamo stuff. And it's good with one other card. Not Serum Powder. I mean, it's not bad with Serum Powder. There's one other like big modern card I think it goes with. Could maybe have kept that. I think graveyarding it for value is going to be... What would it do? Skimmer. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad in the Skimmer shells. So I could Phlage here, and then they... Yeah, I think I'm even going to cast the Looting instead. Frog. Oh yeah, Frog. Yeah, Frog is the other big one with the Goyf. So, will any of these decks end up being... Okay, we did find one. Will any of these decks end up being... Oh no, I didn't click top, did I? Fuck. I guess it's kind of okay, because if I do just get to... Oh, if I go... Yeah, if they don't have a removal spell, I can kill them on the backswing with the Phlage, but I did mean to graveyard. So, I don't know. The Goyf to me is mostly good with Phoenix, though, because like a gigantic vanilla creature for 2 mana isn't that interesting in general. It isn't that interesting in general, so Certainly kind of planning to pair it with Phoenix where you can give it flying and haste. So they reveal a Cecil. They play the Cecil. Right now they can deal me 9 damage. Okay, that's lethal. Nice draw. So, do you think that they play Channeler? I don't know if that's enough for me to want to play the Ghost Vacuums. I do think the Urges are kind of bad against these in these like removal heavy matchups. I think I can play like, let's play like one Wear Tear, one Ghost Vacuum. This is, for their grave. Cool to play against the Grixis Shadow twice in 2 days. I'm glad people keep trying Shadow in the Cecil build. When I was doing it, I mean, I didn't have the Grixis build, but when I was doing it, people were like, "What, Cecil?" I think I'm gonna fetch basic Mountain, play Channeler, not play Bauble. I want to get Delirium and attack on turn 2. So we get 3 Surveils between the Parlor and the double Baubles to find 2 more types. So Brick. It's 1 more type. This is not another type. Yeah, I mean, Steel Cutter is kind of our best card, or amongst our best cards. So let's leave it on top. Great, Mire on top. Cracker main phase. So even though I don't think they play Bowmaster, a Bowmaster wouldn't be like this crazy blowout that kills both Channelers. I guess I wouldn't kill both Channelers because I would have Delirium, huh? Damn. Honestly, we're pretty resilient to Pyroclasm in general, but let's resolve the Steel Cutter even if we can't do anything with it this turn. Typically, you want to hold Spyro as long as you can. We can get another Surveil. We do have the full 3 Surveil lands in this build. Yeah, but this misses Delirious Channeler, FOMO. It can clean up some Steel Cutter tokens. Okay, we still have the Looting in the yard. Plays a Cecil. They're at 13 life. They have 4 spells in their hand. Phlage. Okay, get to graveyard that for a little bit of value. Okay, so I can go Channeler Phoenix and equip the Steel Cutter maybe. I would exile Channeler, Spyro, Looting. So that would be my entire graveyard. So I'd probably lose Delirium. I could also go Channeler plus Faithless Looting. I think I prefer Channeler, Faithless Looting here. Just trying to dig for a Phlage. And then this will make the Phoenix better going forward also. So, Value Town. Wear Tear for Phoenix bestowing seems kind of nice. Let's not attack with our 2-2 into their 2-3. Subscribe for more Magic the Gathering tips. And dare I say tricks also. I think I want to trade. So they're down to 11, 4 cards in their hand. They are all spells because they didn't play a land last turn, but now they've played a land this turn. A Goyf. A Shadow. Dare I say, 3 pretty good spells. Can't kill them, can I? So what happens if I go Phoenix, Phoenix, Ghost... Okay, I guess I could even go Phoenix on the other one. So right now I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if I find any mana value off this Looting, I can Phoenix on both of my monks and kill them. So if there's just any non-bauble spell, this looting plus the Phoenixes should get them. Okay, well, there's a bauble spell. And a non-bauble spell. So I saw the Wear Tear and the Spyro. Nice Goyf Shadow. Remember to include flying or reach so you can block my creatures with flying next time. Subscribe. Alright. So go to game 3. On the draw against Dingo's Grixis Shadow. Anybody want the second Ghost Vacuum? Let's try it. Good to try these kind of plans too when you're playing a deck for the first time. The last 4 leagues we've played on stream, we've started 3-0. 3 of them were Lutri. 3 of them were Lutri. Alright, this is a tough matchup to mulligan in. We've got a really good hand if we draw a land. Let's get the calculator out. So we're only on a 21 land deck. Yeah, lock it in, Gab. Cease your testing. So I think... Do I give myself credit for a DRC surveil? I don't know. So population size is going to be... It's going to be, 53 on our first draw step, 52 after the fetch. I'm gonna just put it as 53. Let's say that we have 3 chances to hit one of our 21 cards. We're 78. Also, Mishra's Bauble is kind of a live hit. So you don't want to... Maybe I just count those as 2 hits, even though there's 4 of them. Yeah, 84. I think that's a keep. Because it's like, Bauble is good on turn 1, it's not good on turn 2, it's not good after the surveil. Maybe I should have only given it credit for like 1 success. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to do it. Like, one thing is like, am I going to get the surveil? I mean, I could guarantee it if I fetch a surveil land. Okay, well, I guess I also forgot the looting was probably pretty live. I am going to lead on the channeler though. And I'll set this upkeep stop, although I think I'm a lot more likely to just cast Faithless Looting if I untap with the channeler, but we might as well keep it here. Okay, so my channeler lives. Cecil trades 2 life for 2 life. Let's go to our second main phase, I think. Oh, let's just draw it first. Okay, second main phase. So we get 3 looks at a land. Miss. Hit. So we want to get Delirium. If we discard a FOMO, we have Delirium. Yeah, I think I'll discard a Steel Cutter and a FOMO. And then we'll play the second channeler, and we'll probably double block the frog if given the option. It's definitely a little weird, because if they have a single removal spell, it's like we're trading the other channeler block for... I don't know, this is weird. We'll just see what happens here. Okay, they play a channeler. They play a bauble. Are there not better cards that do that effect? Do what effect? Ghost Vacuum is the only one that costs you 1 that repeatedly targets. I guess, are we talking about Ghost Vacuum? Ghost Vacuum, like, in the late game in these decks, like, ends up being a really big deal for whatever that's worth. So no attacks from our opponent is interesting. I don't know. Are they going to try to block with a frog here? I don't know. Okay, I think I'm going to cast Steel Cutter and Bolt this turn, or be pretty committed to that. I do think it's kind of interesting that I think really often we get comments on cards like Ghost Vacuum, like, surely there's a better Modern Horizon card for this effect, Spike. My opponent discards a Fatal Push. Do we think that they meant to cast this Fatal Push? Okay, now they discard a Pyroclasm. Now they discard a Cecil. Now they Stubborn Denial. Okay. So we have to attack with our Channelers. Are they going to try to block with a frog? They block with a Channeler and just a Channeler. So, do we bolt the Cecil? I think I do this now for the double surveil, obviously. Graveyard. Recommission with Steel Cutter in the yard. So I could go Steel Cutter Ghost Vacuum next turn. I could also recommission the Channeler and have a 4/4 Channeler, which would be pretty nice. The thing is, I really want... So how much... So they're at 10. If I haste the FOMO next turn, then this is 6 plus 2, which is 8. Not 10. Does seem like recommission a Steel Cutter, play a Ghost Vacuum is going to be a pretty good turn next turn. Or maybe recommission Channeler, play Ghost Vacuum. They have no cards in their hand. I think I'm going to keep it on top. Haste one was near lethal. Yeah, we did make that calculation. Opponent will probably draw some relevant spell next turn, though, so I think he gets some relevant spell. We just play a slightly longer game here. So I'm at 11, they're at 10. They iterate. Could be bad if they just don't see a land. Just not doing much here. They exile Mishra's Bauble. And they pass. Okay. So, do we want to haste the FOMO and put my opponent to 2 life? Or do I want to recommission a Channeler or a Steel Cutter? Oh, I do have a FOMO in the yard. But I can't give it haste. But it would have that extra counter. Tapping my... Exerting seems a little tough. Yeah, I don't know if there's like that big a difference between me putting them to 5 versus me putting them to 2. Or maybe I should say like the big difference is I get to double surveil and not exert my land. So, don't want to draw that. Funny enough, these Ghost Vacuums could have been Violent Urges, which would have just won the game for surezies. Funny how that works sometimes, huh? So I get in for 5. My opponent can, at the most, deal me 8 damage with the Frog. They can't deal me 8 damage with the Frog and bolt me, because they would have to cast the bolt, not discard it. So it's going to be very tough for them to kill me on this backswing. You seem to lose the long game here, given that they just went +3 cards a turn, so putting them to 2 and forcing an answer for the Channeler seems better. I don't know. I don't think there's that big a difference between them being at 5 and 2. Like, them being at 5 with me having Steel Cutter in play, unexerted arena, FOMO in hand. Like, this is almost a lower life total. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, there's a really good chance I could just get to make another Monk token next turn. So I think your thought makes sense, like kind of on an abstract level, but I think maybe like just with what's happening in this game, that's just not connected. So I don't know. It's definitely an interesting game. How many bolts and Phlages? I have 3 Phlage, 3 bolt left. I wonder if Recommission Channeler is better here. Recommission Channeler plays around Bolt. So if my opponent has Bolt, they bolt here, and I lose the game to the Frog. Does think I couldn't surveil a good spell to the top, I guess. But the thing is, I could also draw Bauble, Lightning Bolt, Faithless Looting, Dragon Rage's Channeler. All of those cards are lethal, hits, draws off the FOMO. Oh, they only have 1 red, okay. I mean, they probably do have 2 1-mana removal spells. But I guess this means they likely have a Fatal Push. If they have Bolt Push and I recommission, I'm dead, so I need to go for the FOMO. And if they do have those, I can draw Channeler, Looting, Bauble, Bolt. All should be very live. Yay. That's gonna be tough to beat. You're not beating double interaction here. O ye of little faith. Do you think O ye of little faith like really hit hard in the 1200s? I think that really got to people. All right, 4-0. First league of the day. Let's go. Riveting stream. Your turn. I'm discarding the other looting here, so I can hold up Bolt / Surveil instead of feeling like I have to play the Surveil land. Any strong feelings about Dingo's Shadow deck or the archetype? I like the archetype. We played a bunch of Rakdos Cecil, no Shadow, which did well. We played Dimir Cecil, which did well, and everyone is complaining about the deck the whole time. I think the Grixis build is better than the Dimir build. One thing is, I would really like to play the 4th Frog over the 4th Shadow in Dingo's build. Like, Frog is just the better early game card. Okay, my opponent is Thundering Falls, Arid Mesa, Mountain. So this is Storm or Creativity. I think I'm bottoming this Bolt. Draw another land, which I'm like. So yeah, I think like Shadow is a card that you don't want to draw multiples of in your opening hand a lot of the time, and you can't really cast it till turn 3. So that's kind of the one big thing. And maybe he's even made that change, but that's the one change I think I'd likely do. I would also play the 4th Cecil over the 4th Shadow if you could make that change instead. Archive. Wait, are they just control? I'm gonna escape a Phlage. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'll excel 3rd looting. The Rakdos Cecil Overlord deck still going strong. Nice. Yeah, I think the Rakdos mid-range deck is like one of the most underplayed archetypes in the format, it seems. That deck has definitely been going really well, and I recommend it. Blah blah blah. Yeah, triple Arid Mesa basic Mountain really threw me off here. There's a Prismatic Ending. Do I still have the 3rd Parlor in the deck? I do still have the 3rd Parlor. They have the Snare. It's okay. More cards for my very full graveyard. Good chance I'm like attacking for 4 and then flaging. Main phase Brain Surge. You wouldn't Terminus me, would ya? If about the 3-mana dude, their inmates with no abilities as a 1 with Shadow. Seems completely awful, to be quite honest. Seems like a non-starter. Certified non-starter. What am I looking for to build around Edge? Everything. That set is unbelievable so far. Very exciting. Thank you for the 14 months. I like the warp cards are really crazy. There's a ton of really good build arounds. This is like the most impactful standard set to modern since MH3 in my opinion. Or like obviously MH3 is not a standard set, but in the post MH3 standard set era, this is the best one I think. Dethroning Dragonstorm. All right. Land. So yeah, I think even though I've got Recommission in the deck, I think I've got enough to Recommission still. And I think I also do not play the Channeler, because I can go like Channeler, Bolt, Phoenix next turn, which is like lethal. If I can keep Delirium, which I guess is tough, but let's just not play into a sweeper. Professor with the 16 months, thank you. They get 6 cards in their hand. They lead on Attune the Narrative. If they Wrath the Skies, it's going to require them to tap 3 of their 4 mana at the moment. What specific card? I think the Sphinx is the most expensive. This is the best warp card. I think seems good. There's like 5 warp cards that are good, I think. But we're playing for a trophy, so I'm gonna have to focus on this, unfortunately. Is it better to Spyro? I think with them being at 11, I want to try to double Bolt Phoenix. We'll see if we can fill the yard enough. I don't know how likely this will be. I think we graveyard that. Although maybe keeping that's okay. So I probably should have thought a little bit more. So if I Phoenix here, I have to exile 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can keep the Phlage in the yard. think that's enough for me. I'd get rid of both lootings and then just all the spells, and then just putting my opponent to 2 here is so nice with Spyro in hand and a Surveil and the Phlage in the yard. Okay, we'll keep a lethal top deck, assuming this connects. So they play an untapped Sacred Foundry so they can Galvanic Discharge. The problem is they're just dead on board to this. Oh, so they needed to wait for the bestow to happen, and then they could have lived, but their timing is incorrect. And we're up a game, baby. Maybe they didn't know how bestow works. It's definitely not the most intuitive thing. They did not reveal Phlage, right? Yeah. So I think I want to play 1 Vacuum, 1 Lantern. Played against all grindy decks this league. I guess I want to play less. I guess Violent Urge is better than Bolt, though. Although Bolt can kill Narset. So we played 2. Maybe the Bolts are good. They were good that game. Maybe I could play 3rd Ghost Vacuum. That's kind of, or second. I guess with all the looting, the 2nd Vacuum is probably just good. So we could. What if we do 3 Bolt, no Urge? Did they have the energy to kill a 5/5? Well, I didn't have Delirium. How does bestow work there? So if the creature you're bestowing onto gets removed from the stack, then it just enters play. Also, does that work the same way as mutate? It's 6 years later. I'm willing to have a vague understanding about how mutate works. All right, I'm going to keep Steel Cutter Bauble on the draw against control. No, yes. Yes, okay, well, mutate continuing to be intuitive. So if the Steel Cutter resolves, we'll sandbag the other Bauble, and if it doesn't, we'll just cycle it, I think. I guess we cracked the Bauble main phase because of Narset. Okay, they got a Phlage. We brought in all of our graveyard hate, so not the scaredest ever, but see what happens. Dude, we could have splashed for stock up. 6 cards in their hand. One of them is a Phlage. The rest are unknown. So let's discard Detective's Phoenix and one of the fetches. Supreme Verdict's on top. Not too scared of that with the Steel Cutter in my hand. Might get to double haste Fear of Missing Out next turn. Okay, so the double hasted FOMO is not going to be as strong against this Lantern, of course. Likely still the play for us, though. We could discard both of our spells to force the Lantern sack. That seems a little silly. Okay, so we save the Bauble so it can trigger Prowess on both of our monks. I think. Or maybe do we discard it? So right now this is 4, 6, 7 damage. 8, 9, 10. I guess it's only 9 because this moves over. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then if I Bauble, that's 11, 12, which means that the Bolt is going to be 1 short of killing them if I keep it. So I don't keep it? Yeah, I think I just keep the Spyro then. And they're going to cast the Supreme Verdict, but oh, maybe it's not. Maybe I should have saved the Bauble to trigger Steel Cutter next turn. Prowess kills them. I haven't counted that they're going to go to 4 after this, because I don't get the FOMO extra triggers, and even if I could, they have the Lantern to stop me. Yeah, so we did count correctly. So like it's either we have a Bolt in our hand and they're at 4, or we Or or we keep the Spyro. So I discard Bauble and Bolt Spyro next turn. Yeah, I think that's what I landed on here. Feels like we're in pretty good shape. This is a good draw because now we can go Recommission plus Channeler next turn. Now we're actually insulated against Wrath Disguise in addition to the Supreme Verdict that we know about. Seems like that's what they have as their Wrath, although maybe they can also hold up some counter magic this turn. Do they forget to sack the Lantern? Looks like they do. Maybe not. Maybe they're holding priority. No, they did forget. Well, I think they're very likely to have a counterspell here, so let's just cast the Phlage. And then if it resolves, we also Stone Rain them. Maybe we multiple Stone Rain them if they have more fetch lands. And then like maybe this makes them tap out for the Phlage, and they're like really weak to my Arena of Glory. Why am I certain they forgot and not holding up interaction? Well, they would have just sacrificed it for 0 mana to exile my graveyard against my graveyard deck. Like they should have done that. Interaction or no, right? Okay, let's start off with a hasty Channeler. Yeah, we know they have Dress Down, but if they Dress Down, we might just recommission Phlage into play. Although I guess why didn't they Dress Down in response to... I guess I would have just had it in play. So here's the Dress Down. Wait, do I get to keep haste? If I get to keep haste, then I just haste this. Okay. Dude, Dress Down got really MH3'd, huh? Alright, so very smooth, 5-0 to start the day. I think we should run it back and get a better idea of what's going on here. I really want to play Grixis Lutri in the challenge this weekend, but you know that doesn't mean we can't sandbag this for a different challenge or pivot. We opened a foil Dragonstorm set. That's pretty nice. That'll pay for some leagues.